Okay, awesome.
Oh, hey, wait. Do you still have that? It's boob and poop recorded.
I don't. I think I might have deleted it, but hold on, give me a second. Album artwork.
My man hates me.
Yeah, I don't think I kept it.
Pure hatred.
No, it's not hatred. It's just I think that's. Hold on, let me see. Is this one it? No, that's something else.
That's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's
Sorry,
whatever.
man. Sorry.
Gosh, remember I specifically told you to leave that on your stupid thing. God!
You did?
I told you forever keep that on one of the record, the little button
The
ones.
sound pads?
Yeah.
My bad. I forgot. All right. Ready to go, best friend?
Yes, sir, best man.
Yeah, I'm sorry about deleting that. My bad.
It's okay.
You'll get over it. Hello and welcome to this episode of Up Until Now. I am JD.
I'm Andrew.
And I want to thank you for taking a listen to our podcast because I think this one's going to be a very interesting episode because Andrew and I are going back to the future, which makes no fucking sense and it's the worst movie title in the world. We're going back to the past.
Yay!
Yay! We are going to be talking about our awkward years, specifically in high school. Do the people still call high school the awkward years or is that middle school?
I think it's middle school. I was a fucking weirdo in middle school. I was a fucking amazing legend in high school.
Okay. Well, I guess my awkward years just extended through high school. Andrew and I want to go back to the primitive years of our adulthood. We kind of pinned it on pre-adulthood, which is high school, a little bit more adulthood in college, and then just full-on adulthood now. We wanted to see how we were as people within those specific times of our lives and kind of seeing what we've done in the past to make us who we are today. And we figured going too far back to, junior high would be a pain in the ass because I don't remember anything that happened in junior high. And we were both hella awkward. So
You don't remember junior high? I remember junior high.
I don't remember junior high all that well. Not at all, actually. I don't remember it.
I enjoyed junior high.
I guess I just kind of phased those out of my head. I'm just like, this part of my life kind of sucks. So I'm just gonna go ahead and skip the awkwardness and then go into more awkwardness in high school. So
Alrighty.
I think this kind of goes back to even episode 2 where we were talking about making friends and things like that and social groups. So Andrew, you mentioned back in that episode where there are different groups of people like band geeks, band nerds, jocks, popular kids, XYZ, whatever. Where did you fall, I guess, on the quote unquote popularity spectrum? And what group did you find yourself in with like most of the time?
I have to categorize myself twice because I moved in the middle of my high school years. So my freshman year, I honestly think I was popular because I mean everyone knew me because even like the older age group kids knew me because my brother was a junior when I was a freshman and all of his friends knew me and like we just all knew each other. Especially because a lot of us came from the same elementary school and like all the same districts and all that whatnot. Like I said, my junior year, I enjoyed it because that's where I made a lot of my friends because I was that fat kid and I had to choose being funny to get friends. So I was already known as the funny guy.
That's so sad.
It's the truth though. But in freshman year, I lost a shit ton of weight and I was already funny. That wasn't going to change. So I became a popular jock funny guy. I was a goofy jock that got a lot of attention.
So you were a jock. So what sports did you play in high school?
I played football, swimming, and water polo.
Oh wow, that's a decent amount of sports. I mean, that's a year-round thing, right? Fall would be football, swimming is winter, and then water polo is in the spring.
Yep.
Damn.
I was doing sports all year round.
So you were a busy freshman.
I had to keep active because I had to stay fit. After I lost all that weight, I had to maintain that.
I guess that makes sense. That really does.
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter now.
You just told me earlier today that you spent all day swimming and you really enjoyed it. If you didn't do swimming and you didn't do water polo, like, you wouldn't be the swimmer that you are today. So it does
Yeah, you're
matter.
right.
It does matter. Come on, man.
I am pretty proud of my swimming abilities.
This is why we're doing it. We're going back to our past and seeing how it affects us as an adult.
Yeah, you're right. You're
That's
right.
probably a big thing. And I think that follows suit for me as well, where Andrew and I both played sports in high school and we really enjoyed them. We're not saying that this entire episode is going to be about how we were jocks. That's not it at all. But we really enjoyed sports and we enjoyed being competitive in that way. And if it even in back to, again to episode 2, that's pretty much how Andrew and I met. We met because we were playing a pickup football game at a church, and that's exactly how it is. So it kind of makes sense that like we both played sports in high school, and I played football my freshman year of high school. I quit after that because I was just so injury prone and man, football like destroyed my body my freshman year. I had three three sprained ankles, a sprained neck, and a concussion all in one season. Yeah,
Jesus.
I was just like, this is not the best sport that I should be playing right now.
I mean, the worst I've had was a back injury that still, affects me today. I guess that's another thing.
Yeah, I mean, my ankle injuries still affect me. Like it hurts. Like I can't. So Esther has been working out in the apartment, and I can't
Mhm.
do these home workouts because they're all on like the hardwood floor, and my ankles just like
Oh,
freaking like they feel like they're gonna die. So I don't do that. Anyways, I digress. So I played football in freshman year, but then freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior year, I actually played lacrosse. So
oh, dude, lacrosse is so fucking cool.
yeah, I know it is. That's why I picked it, but I wasn't that good at it, so I wasn't that cool.
I wish I knew the basics of it. Like, I wish I could catch a fucking ball and throw it with the lacrosse stick. I can't do that.
It actually isn't as hard as it looks.
Oh, it sure is because I tried it at your house.
I mean, it takes a little while. It's not like a pick up and like automatically be really good at it. You got to kind of play for like maybe an hour and a half. But then after that hour and a half, like you're fine. Like it's not hard at all.
Maybe next time I go to church or visit you when you're home.
I mean, that you would have to play with Josh. I don't even have any more lacrosse sticks.
Oh yeah, that little shithead plays now.
He used to. I mean, he
Or he
graduated,
used to
but
he
yeah,
graduated.
yeah, he played decently well. But yeah, I mean, that's what we did in high school. So you going back to the original question, so you were the one that like was the popular jock kid, right? First high school, and then what happened in the second one?
Second high school, we've mentioned this earlier on in the podcast where I sheltered myself and pretty much closed myself from society. I became the quiet, I guess weirdo because Asians were considered weird in my school because there was no fucking Asians.
That's
And
weird. That's weird here, man.
that's weird to hear, especially it was weird for me because I came from a school where it was like majority like Asians and like we were so diverse to going to a school where like me and literally my family were the rest of the only Asians at school.
I just feel like that's so bizarre.
It was because like people are so ignorant when they don't know, and like I don't know if they're trying to be ignorant, but like like they end up being ignorant because like they ask the stupidest questions.
Yeah, like, are you Chinese? And then Japanese,
Yeah,
and then no, you say you're Korean, and then they're like, are you the good one or the bad one? That's the same question that we got all throughout high school and college. I mean, I got that a lot.
the worst one was I literally got into an argument with someone that refused to accept that I was Asian.
What the fuck?
Yeah, so like I guess they don't I guess they didn't get it, but I told them I'm Korean, and he's like, I thought you were Asian. I was like, yeah. Uh, yes. He's like, but you just said you're Korean. I was like, what? Like, are you dumb?
Wait, was this in high school?
This was in high school.
What the fuck? That's so bizarre.
It's like people like that made me so mad, just made me not want to open up to people because I didn't want to deal with that kind of stupidity.
I mean, that makes sense. I understand why. I mean, yeah, I completely understand why that would be something that like you did not want to deal with. Because even like the little things that I deal with on a day to day basis that has anything to do with that is not anywhere near that bizarre.
Level of stupid.
Yeah, that level of stupid. That's I I've never heard that before. That's just
Yeah, that's what you get in Indiana.
that's weird. So, like, you went from your first high school to your second high school, you went from, like, the popular jock to the popular funny jock to just
A nobody, literally a nobody. Yeah,
okay. I see that.
it was like a huge drastic change for me. That's sort of why my whole depression thing started because it was a huge personality change. Like I didn't know what to do, and it was bad.
I mean, yeah, it's a whole personality change, but it's also, like, a huge location change too, like, your whole life just got flipped and turned and just changed like crazy.
Yeah, I did a full 180. Hmm.
That makes a lot of sense. It really does. Well, so for me, my high school, I didn't peg myself as, like, one group. So, as Andrew knows, I'm a man of a lot of different talents. I'm a jack of all trades. I dabble in a lot of different things. So I dabble in audio audio mixing, and I was a musician. I played sports. I had a social life, and I went to church. Like, I had a lot of different, I guess,
Activities.
activities and just hobbies and things like that that put me all throughout every, like, kind of point and realm of high school.
You could kind of fit in everywhere.
Exactly. So I consider myself a social chameleon. So I can just go into pretty much almost any table and be okay and be able to, like, make a friend or have a friend within that group. Yeah, I mean, I can go to with the band kids and play and, like, talk about band and talk about how I hated playing the trombone, but I love playing, like, the drum kit and stuff. And then I would play sports, so I would know all my friends that would play lacrosse, all the friends that played football and soccer and all these other things. So, like, I had plugs and a lot of different friends in a lot of different places, so I can essentially, like, slide into the group and, be a part of that group for whatever day I felt that day.
That's so weird because I remember like how you just said like during lunch you could just slide into another table and you'll know at least one person. That's so weird to me because at my second high school, it was either I eat lunch with Kevin because we had block period. It's like every other day, blah blah blah. So like one of the every other days, I got to eat with my cousin Kevin because we had the same lunch period. But the other days where he wasn't there, I ate alone.
Oh, that's so weird, man. I don't think in high school, I don't think I ever ate alone once.
I fucking hated it. And like I can't even eat alone right now. And like for me to eat alone back then, like with all the anxiety, like I ate as fast as I could and I just walked around the hallways. I was like, fuck, I can't just sit here doing nothing.
Yeah, man, that's bizarre. Like, yeah, I can't think of it either because I don't like eating alone. As like I'm the same as you. I just don't. I'm not a fan of it. I can do it if I have like headphones in and I'm listening to a podcast or I'm eating and watching a movie or something. That's fine, but I can't just sit there and eat. It's just weird for me, just really weird. But yeah, that was my, I think, group, quote unquote, in high school was just a social chameleon. I could go anywhere. And it actually kind of was really interesting. I I was on the train. This was back when I was working full time in Chicago, and I was on the train coming back, and I saw one of the popular kids from high school. Like, he played baseball, he was good looking, he was, he was built, and he was a good looking guy. I saw him and I made eye contact with him, and in my head, I'm like, "Oh shit!" Like, I don't even think he knows who I am. But then he's like, "Oh, hey, JD, what's up?" I'm like, "What the fuck? Like, you remember me?" It's been like, 7 years, and he still remembers my name. And I'm just like, "That's so bizarre." And the same thing happened where, like, I had a football player friend, and we met again after college in Yellowstone. You remember my friend that I met in Yellowstone National
Yeah,
Park?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he played baseball and he played football as well, and he was considered one of, like, the more popular kids with, he hung out with that group of crowd, and Andrew knows, like, he remembered my name, and we were sitting there talking for, like, a good 45 minutes before we can get our campsite, but yeah, like, I was able to move around in conversations and be in a lot of different groups because I knew and had a lot of hobbies and passions in a lot of different things. Would you consider your high school experience not so great then, Andrew?
Yes, because majority of it was in Indiana. I don't like it.
So when you went to college, did things change or did they kind of stay the same? Or, like, what kind of happened on that transition from high school to college?
They had a few similarities and a few differences. Some similarities were like I was still closed up. I sat in the back or the very front. It didn't really matter to me. It's just I just wanted to be left alone, do my thing, and get out. I didn't really care to make friends until I did, like the two close friends I mentioned before in this podcast. But it was really nice at the same time though, because in college, no one gives a shit. And like you don't have that categories anymore. Technically, the cool kids are the ones that come in their PJs ready to fucking sleep in class. Like it doesn't fucking matter. You could do your own thing and no one judges you anymore. And I guess the thing that helped me out the most when I first came to the big university was Joe, my cousin, and his at the time girlfriend Michelle, our noons, we all lived together when I first got there. So I didn't need to worry about dorming and, having to socialize with some roommate or anything like that. I got to go immediately into a housing because we already had one. And after Joe and Michelle graduated, I had Kevin there. So I got to live with Kevin and, me and Kevin get along. We're family, we're best friends. But then after Kevin left, we mentioned my other roommate, Jackass. Um, I just had to add that, but
I'm laughing because I'm listening to that episode again on Apple Podcast, which you guys should subscribe, rate, comment, whatever. But I'm listening to it through Apple Podcasts, and that just came up, and I was just like, "Oh my god! If he listens to this, it'll be interesting.
I don't give a shit if he listens to this. I hope he listens to this.
Maybe he'll learn something. Not to be an asshole to his future roommates.
I'll be a fucking jackass.
Oh yeah,
But yeah,
just be not a jackass. That's an overall
all
good
right.
lesson.
But yeah, like it had its similarities and differences. What about you? Was it the same for you?
Yeah, no, it was really, really different. So the thing that was really interesting about my high school experience was I don't think I had a lot of friends, but I had a lot of acquaintances. Because I moved around in social groups so much, I never got to sit down and just like really make a solid group of friends or a base of friends. And it wasn't until like after high school and like starting like freshman and sophomore year of college where I actually became more and where I actually found a group of friends from high school that I hung out with. So it wasn't until after I left high school in order to find a group of friends from high school that I hung out with. Does that make sense?
No, yeah, I know what you mean. You're
Yeah.
talking about your roommates, right?
No, I'm actually talking about my Tennis Tuesday friends.
Oh,
After high school, there's a group of my friends that made a group called Tennis Tuesday. Now, every Tuesday during the summer or whenever we were home, we would either get together and play board games or we would go and play tennis. So that was a group of friends that I found like a solid group of friends that like we all shared a lot of similar interests. We all had very similar senses of humor. And I mean, that's just how I found it. In high school, though, I just felt like I moved around so much that I never really found a core group of friends. So when I came home from school, I really didn't hang out with friends. I didn't really have any friends that would reach out to me and ask to hang out, or I wouldn't know which group to reach out to actually go and hang out. So
we hung out.
yeah, we hung out, but that was, honestly, you were kind of just fell in with like the church friends people. You kind of fell in that group. Not saying that you're any different or anything like that, but you were like my best friend. So we hung out a lot, but we always only hung out on the weekends or, when we had church things to do. And that was because we were young and we didn't have cars. We didn't have driver's license at the time. So it was kind of hard to get together and be, that close.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, if you and I went to the same high school and we were best friends, like we'd be hanging out like almost every day.
Dude, imagine if we went to the same college.
Oh my God. I would be more of an alcoholic for sure.
Yeah, you would. Because I sure was. Okay, I guess that was my friend. Alcohol was my friend.
That's not like the best friend to have, but I guess it counts in a certain twisted way
He listened to all my problems.
and doesn't say anything back.
Doesn't say anything back. He just makes me feel better all the time.
This is bad, kids. Don't become alcoholics. Don't drink too much.
Well, well.
Well, depends. We'll cut all this out. Don't worry.
Well.
The reason why my high school and college was so different was because when I went to college, I had like continuous access to my friends. I was in the residence hall, so I lived in dorms my freshman and sophomore year, and I met four of my groomsmen, like on my like first day of freshman year. Like my roommate and two floor mates, like we all became roommates later on, but I had better access to friends and we hung out all the time and we went out, we drank, we made stories and we did all these things.
So, sorry, when you said made stories, for some reason I thought you were gonna say we made love.
No, fuck what? Okay, Will has always joked that he wanted to. I'm still not sure if he really wanted to or not, but I'm pretty sure it's still a joke.
Sorry, it's just people usually just say made love, not made stories.
You're just a perv. You just have a dirty mind.
That was funny.
God, I have to start all over, man. I don't even know where I was.
You said you were saying like you made stories. You didn't make love. You met four of your groups.
I fucking hate you.
Ooh, that was good. Anyways.
That's what she said.
Oh god, I love this soundboard so much.
Okay.
So yeah, there was a lot of differences with high school and college. I just felt like I was more myself in college than I was in high school because it was a clean slate. Like a lot of people from my middle school went to my high school, about 50%, so they kind of knew who I was. So there wasn't really anything or any way to, change myself and change the way that I acted from an awkward middle schooler to a high schooler. So when I went to college, I just kind of felt like it was a clean start and I could just do whatever I wanted.
I mean, you can. It's college. You can do what the fuck you want to do.
Exactly. And it's kind of encouraged to do that. Like you're encouraged to find your passions and you're encouraged to really delve into something that you actually are passionate about and you want to pursue. So I felt that a learning environment like college was a lot more constructive for me than high school. I honestly I hate the way high school works. It is like
Really?
yeah, I really I loved the college schedule because you had 2-3 hours of classes a day maybe, and then the rest of the day was yours to do whatever you wanted. I'm the kind of student, and I guess we can talk about the kind of student that we are. I'm the kind of student that I can go to class, I can listen to lectures, I can write notes down. I don't have to study and I get an A in the class. That's just me. So I loved college because I didn't have to study as much and I can use that time to do other things like pursue photography or work and make money or hang out with my friends or just sleep. I was able to do all these things because I had so much time, but I was still able to keep up with my courses and still graduate with a decent GPA. But in high school, you're learning like 6 different subjects at once and you have a final in 3 days over those 6 courses and you're like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? It was just so stressful. And on top of that, like I didn't, nope, was not a fan of the high school education system. And I think it needs to be changed.
It's a little. I mean, I did okay in high school. Like, yeah, I wasn't an outstanding student, but that's kind of because my parents never pushed me to be. My parents gave up on me and my brother when it came to grades because growing up, our whole lives, we had 3 cousins, Ashley, Brandon, and Christine. They were the breadwinners in our entire family of grades and books and everything, They brought home 4.0s every time. And it got to the point where like our parents all said, if anyone else brings in a like straight A's, we'll give you each $100 from each parent. And no one ever got it. And those kind of situations has its ups and downs. They're very different now, but Ashley, Brandon, and Christine, I feel like they didn't have a lot of social life growing up because they were always studying. And I felt kind of bad. And it was like to the point where like they would get in trouble if they like touched their games during the weekdays. They couldn't even touch that or anything. Like they always had to be studying. And I felt so bad.
That sucks.
Yeah. But like I felt like they were a little slow on the street smarts because
Street
they didn't have
smarts.
that so
Street smarts.
but yeah, like I feel like they were kind of slow on all that, what was happening and all that stuff. But then I was very opposite of them. I was very street smart because when I grew up, I was always outside, with my friends doing stuff, being in the trend and all that crap. But I was very stupid when it came to books. And I always used to bring home like what, 2.5s and maybe, stuff like that. But again, that's because my parents gave up. Like they stopped caring. Like they weren't ever home to make sure I did my homework or anything like that. They're always at work, and if they ask if I did it, I'll be like, I could copy off Michael's homework tomorrow. It's okay. It's whatever. And in college, it changed though because college was when I started paying for my classes. So like I looked at it very differently. It's like, why the fuck would I spend $600 on this class if I'm just gonna blow it off? But I was the kind of student where I always wrote my notes. I never typed it. I mean, unless I literally ran out of paper and I had to type it. Like I always had my laptop up just so I could pull the notes up so I know what they're talking about and I could read it and hear it at the same time. But I was those kind of students that always wrote their notes, never studied one day, and I still got an A.
That's where I was like being able to do that freed up so much time for me in college, and I was able to use that time to follow other passions and stuff like that because this kind of goes in what I'm going to say later in the podcast, but during high school and during like the actual academic hours and academic classes that you have to take in order to graduate, everyone in that class learns the same things. They learn the same like 2 plus 2 equals 4, 4 plus 4 equals 8. Like they always learn the same exact fucking things. And the only time that you have for yourself to be different and the only time that you have for yourself to pursue those passions and goals that you have for yourself, you don't do it during school because you learn the same things as all your all your classmates do. It's outside of the classroom and it's outside of school specifically where you get to pursue the things that makes you unique and it makes you happy and it furthers your own personal happiness in life. Like I know for you, Andrew, it was a lot of video games, and for me, it was just music and other little things. So that's why I'm just not a huge fan of this academic system because it doesn't focus on that at all, and it just focuses on who can retain 90% of the information that is given to you. I mean, who gives a shit? Like I can pull up my notes from from school and I'll be like, "What the fuck? I don't even use this. I don't even know what this means anymore." And it's just like, what was the point of doing all that? And yeah, I guess it creates discipline and it creates some kind of sense of accomplishment, but meh, eh.
There's a lot of things in high school where you are forced to learn things where you'll never use it for the rest of your fucking life.
And all the things that we are supposed to do on a day-to-day basis, like budgeting our finances or paying bills, we didn't learn jack shit about that. We didn't learn about how to properly pick out an apartment, which we should have done, but we learned how the stock market works, but we're too poor to even invest in the stock market. Like it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. So this is like a okay. I just want to say this is like a quick note to all of our, if we have any young listeners that are still in high school, maybe don't fucking worry too much about high school years. That's not going to signify who you are. Honestly, just you can't be honestly yourself unless you're fucking amazing and that's just who you are for the rest of your life from high school. But oh Jesus.
I completely agree with you because I feel like the college years are more formidable because it gives you more freedom as an individual to find your passions and pursue those hobbies that you actually find fun and enjoyable and not just being forced to go to school for 8 hours a day so you're off the streets, and not causing trouble like somewhere else. If you were to go back If you were to go back and tell yourself something different or tell yourself like to do something differently, what would you say? Like, just I feel like this is a four-part question, just kind of going off the top of my head. I feel like there's four questions that need to be answered in order to like fully get a good sense of what we would do if we can time travel and go back and talk to our former selves. I guess the first question for you, Andrew, is like, when would you want to go back? Like, what time of your life would you want to go back and talk to young Andrew?
When I first moved to Indiana, boom, easy.
So, like, what year was that, and why? Why did you decide that year?
2009 of August, and then going into 2010. I picked those years because that's where my crumbling depression started, and it could have been resolved if I just had that. I don't want to say older brother figure because I had an older brother and he was amazing to me, but just someone wiser and that like actually cared for me in like a growing standard way, not just like, oh, hey, you want to play games with me? Like, hey, let's just fuck around. Like my brother was awesome, but he never gave me like advice or anything like that.
I got you. Okay, so for Andrew, it's sophomore year of high school, 2009 to 2010. Like, would there be like a specific place that you would want to like sit yourself down, like something that would, I don't know, make you feel better or make you feel more comfortable, or do you think like it doesn't fucking matter?
I mean, probably. I mean, where we moved to, like our home, because that's where I was most of the time. Because I had no friends to go outside with. I was always at home playing games because that was my escape.
All right. Okay, that makes sense. All right.
JD, it's your turn now. When would you go back, or in what time period would you go back to?
I think mine would be actually pretty close to yours. It wouldn't be sophomore year, it would be junior year. So it would be 2010 to 2011. So
Ooh.
just one more year after that, specifically in 2010, like that, the first fall semester of high school, of junior year.
Was there a specific reason?
Yeah, I feel like junior year, specifically, even in college as well, you kind of use that time. You use junior year to pick what you're going to do next. I feel that junior year, whether that's in high school or it's in college, is a pivotal point of that specific time in that specific, area of your life. It's the time where you decide to use the next year or use the next academic year to pursue something that you want, or pursue something that you want to study, or in the case of college, like what you want to do for the rest of your fucking life pretty much is decided by junior year or during junior year. So I feel like that's such a pivotal point for me back in high school because you're what? In junior year, you're like what, 16, 17 years old? You're a fucking dumbass. That's what you are. Like in junior year of high school, like they expect you to make all these choices and no one tells you that the choices that you're going to make directly, like they try to tell you and they try to explain to you that the choices that you make your junior year of high school actually set a very good, like it gives you momentum when it comes to college. It gives you momentum to kind of pursue college and go farther than that and get a job that you truly do love. I feel that people like parents or teachers aren't able to give you the correct knowledge to really do that because the time that they went to high school and the times that they were in college was very, very different from the way that were very, very different than the era that Andrew and I went to high school and college.
That's very true. Like, no one knows what you're talking about, Grandpa. Shut up.
But if I can go back in time and tell my junior year self, like, listen the fuck up, man. Like, if you fuck this up, you're fucking up our lives. Like, this is something that like you can like sit them down and be like, yo, this is gonna be shit. In 2020, coronavirus is gonna hit the world and you're gonna be fucked. So be careful. Like being able to do that and being able to go back and give specific examples how it directly relates to your life instead of giving this blanket statement that says junior year is important, guys. Be thinking about what you want to study in college. Like, who the fuck is gonna listen to that? I almost fell asleep just saying that to myself. You know what I mean? And I saw your eyes freaking glossed over as soon as I started talking like that. Like, no one wants to listen to something like that. No one listens to something that's a blanket statement. They want a one-on-one thing that they can see how it directly relates to them. And I feel like junior year is like that pivotal moment that I wanted to go back and tell myself to don't fuck up.
Was there a specific location like where like you were doing something where, or does it not matter? Like just any time in junior year, maybe towards the end where you're deciding and all that crap?
Honestly, I for whatever reason, I feel like the Schaumburg Library always comes up. So
Uh-huh.
if you guys didn't know, Andrew, Andrew, you went to Maine East, correct? In
Main Easies?
Yep, he went to Maine East High School in the Chicagoland area, and I went to Schaumburg High School in the Chicagoland area as well. Andrew was at Maine East for his freshman year, and he went to Indiana for sophomore, junior, senior year. Just to get that out there. So my years at Schaumburg High School, I spent a lot of time outside of my house because I couldn't study with my 3 siblings and my parents there. I was just like, "Nope, nope, nope." So I always went to the Schaumburg Library, and then that's where I kind of like, took my time to sit down, study, and learn how I can retain information. And for whatever reason, I feel like that is the place that I spent a lot of time and a lot of time contemplating or napping, and to have myself go back there and learn something that's valuable, I feel like would work the best, I think, out of all the locations that are there. So, which is weird and kind of nerdy and geeky, and I feel really nerdy saying it, but yeah, I think I would try to go back and bring myself to the Schomburg Library.
Ugh, I don't think I ever once stepped in foot of a library willingly on my own choice. Ugh,
Yeah, even in
disgusting.
Seattle, when I wanted to go see the library, kind of had to drag you over there.
Yeah, the only reason I agreed to go in was because you told me there was gonna be air conditioner.
Yeah, there was air conditioning, and then also it was just a really weird looking building. Like, search
That
up.
was a slanted one, right?
Yeah, it was like the weird geometric shaped one. It's really cool. If you guys want to see it, you can Google pictures. They actually looks really interesting.
I didn't really care for it.
Yeah,
I just wanted the AC.
yeah. I think we both wanted it because we were walking all day that day.
It was hot.
I guess like the big question that kind of overlooms this what if question is, what would you say to yourself, Andrew? Like, what would you try to focus on?
So, like I mentioned, this is where a lot of my anxiety and stress and depression all started. This goes out to myself today too, and a lot of people that might be facing struggles. Don't stress over the little things, especially things you can't control. I know I did a lot because I'm an overthinker, like many people are. The littlest thing can get me going, and that fucking drove me crazy. And that was like another reason what kind of barricaded my way to make friends and stuff, because I would overthink things and like I would be like, oh, maybe I'm weird, maybe I said something too weird and blah blah blah. Just fucking stop worrying about little shit like that. And especially if you can't even control it, like the outcome of it, like there's no reason for you to stress over things you can't control. Like it is what it is. Fuck. Like I said, I'm trying to live life with like a half full now. Like life to me, I take life as it comes now. And God, if only someone told me that back then. Like I had no one that gave me like those inspiring words like, "Oh, don't mind the little things. Oh, don't worry about the things you can't control." Like I didn't fucking have that. And if I could tell myself that, I think I'd be a very different person to who I am now.
Going off as being your best friend and kind of observing the way that you've been growing right now, I think that's a key point of like wisdom that you've been learning over the past few months or the past few years or however long you've been fighting this battle. But after it's been so long and you've been continually fighting it and you've been continually like putting it in your brain and like it's ingrained in there, it's so hard to like reverse it. And it's so hard to do that 180 turn and being somebody else that you want to be.
It is. That's why I mean I had that huge depressing phase again, and it's life changing once you know go through what I did. You know, I'm not saying I had the worst situation ever, but for me it was. I hit literally rock bottom in my life, and it was life changing for me. And I was sort of forced to by myself. to stop thinking the way like that, because if I did, things wouldn't be the same anymore. I wouldn't be here, and I probably would have lost a lot of friends because who wants to be, like I said, like, who wants to be friends with a fucking depressed idiot? Like, come on, be happy. You make more friends.
No, I got you. I got you.
But now it's your turn. What would you tell yourself?
It kind of alludes to what I said earlier. It's everyone learns the same thing in school. Your passions, your hobbies, and your personal ventures are what make you different and what makes you unique. Specifically in high school, I always just focused on academics, not like crazy amounts where I would study like just nonstop. That just wasn't my style. But I was always worried about academics. I was always worried about my grade. I was always worried that wasn't going to be able to like get into a good school or into college in general. So that worry and that stress was always on my mind. And I wish somebody was there to tell me that like no one gives a shit if you know the quadratic formula. No one gives a shit if you know how to take the integral or whatever fucking thing that you do in math. No one gives a shit. You know what I'm saying? Everyone went through it. Everything learned 2 + 2 = 4, but that doesn't make you special. That doesn't make you unique. And I felt that in specifically in high school and like my freshman year of college, I was lost because I couldn't find that passion or that hobby that I wanted to do and wanted to pursue. And I couldn't I couldn't think of the reasons why I was different. I couldn't think of the reasons why I was unique. Does that make sense? I just felt like I was like a clone stamped robot that said Korean American from the Chicagoland area. That's literally was my cookie, like that cookie cutter Asian kid. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking
You
about.
know exactly the people that I'm talking about. Like everybody that went to a Korean American church is pretty much that cookie cutter, like Korean
Yeah.
American person. And I just felt that that was me, and I couldn't figure out what the fuck like I was passionate about. I couldn't figure out what was gonna make me different, what was gonna make me happy and unique. And what I would tell myself is lean into your hobbies because they are what make you different. And if I was to like really be able to have like a conversation, I'd be like, bro, pick up a camera and just start taking photos. Start editing them, do whatever you want, but just start now because I feel like I'm so behind. I feel like I'm the person that gets on a trend right before it gets super popular. Even with us in podcasting, like we're on episode whatever episode this is. Like we're closing in on 20 episodes, right?
Yeah.
And for some whatever reason, I just feel like right now, it could be because of the COVID-19 pandemic, but everyone I feel like is starting a podcast. Every popular YouTuber, every popular content creator, whatever, has also started being like doing podcasting. You and I started last like what, 7, 8 months ago? Like we're a little bit ahead of the curve, but I always felt that way no matter what I picked up. Like I picked up
Yeah.
photography and then 2, 3 years later, it just boomed and it just like exploded. You know? Everyone's a photographer now. Everyone is a freelancer. Everyone does portrait sessions and whatever. Even though in my opinion, in my professional opinion, they fucking suck. But everyone's a photographer now. So I always just felt like I was just barely ahead of the curve. And, just I wish somebody would be like, you know what? Because I had an interest in photography my junior and senior year of high school, and I just never thought I can pursue that as any kind of I don't know, any kind of career. So if I were to sit myself down and be like, yo, pick up a camera, start taking photos because you're actually fucking good.
Yeah.
The second thing, specifically when it comes to content creation, I would tell my past self, watch out for an Airbnb owner named Adam and take him 100% seriously when he tells you that you and Andrew should start a podcast.
Oh my god. Imagine if we started this so much earlier.
Exactly. We would have started in 2016, meaning we would have been podcasting for close to 4 years.
Oh my god. That's that's a lot of fucking content.
Exactly. But when we think about it, right? When he said that, you and I like looked at each other and we actually considered it. and then it kind of blew over. You know, if we would have taken his advice and been like, you know what, maybe we should start a podcast and talked about it on the entire drive back from San Francisco to Chicago, we would have been able to start something that was way ahead of the curve.
And something that we would have ended up really enjoying too.
Exactly. So I felt that like I don't know, like me personally, I missed a lot of chances to
Mhm.
start something that I really loved and I really enjoyed only because I felt that it wasn't in tune with my academia.
That sucks because I don't know, I'm just very different. I never gave a damn about my fucking grades until, college, but that's because I was paying for it and stuff like that. But like high school years, I didn't give a fuck whether I got a D or an F or an A. Well, I mean, I never got Fs because I was just never that fucking stupid. But like I was an average C student. My parents didn't give two shits. I didn't give two shits.
That's what I just always felt like. I felt like all the creative hobbies and all the things that makes me happy, I always felt that it doesn't match with the stereotype of Asians being good at school and being good at academia. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I never like took the time to think about it and pursue it. Like if I would have started photography like my junior year of high school,
That's a lot of content.
it's a lot of content and also it's just I feel that a lot of my a lot of my chances even in the adult world were just off by like 6 months to a year. I would have had the opportunity to stay at the old company that I worked with in Chicago, and I feel like I had a very good chance of being a junior photographer for them. Kinda glad I don't have that job now because that company is no longer working right now because of COVID-19. They're gonna be coming back, but they're no longer working. So being a part of that, like, I missed it by, like, 6 months.
Yeah.
You know, and I just feel like I keep missing things by like just these tiny increments of time because I just never fully leaned into my hobbies. And that's what I would tell younger junior year of high school, really awkward and kind of tubby JD, be like, dude, just lean into your hobbies, man. Just lean in, learn as much as you can. And I also said use Instagram correctly sooner.
Ooh, yeah. That's another point for me. I would tell myself start streaming way earlier.
And also, actually, kind of going off of that, I would tell my future self, don't try to be a gamer. You're not good at games. Like you're just not good at games, so don't even try it.
Yeah, you suck.
Yeah, I'm not good at all. I mean, I can play like dungeon crawlers and like Assassin's Creed, but when it comes to like FPS or any kind of multiplayer battle royale shit, I'm just Sidigi. I'm like absolute garbage.
Suregi.
Sidigi. I'm just like garbage. Like no, no.
I don't know.
And then the last thing is I wrote down the perfect girl is coming.
Oh.
I was always worried as a kid, you know, being kind of like on the bigger end of things, like and like not like the chiseled look of like models and stuff. I was nowhere near that ever. And just kind of always being like, oh, like I'm never gonna find the person that I'm supposed to be with. But I wrote down she's coming. Like she's there. You just need to wait.
That's really good. This goes out to all of our people who are struggling with love right now. Just be yourself and that person perfect someone will come right to you. That's what happened to both of us.
Exactly. No, it really did. Like if you're trying to fake and be somebody that you're not, the person that you want's just not gonna be attracted to you at all.
That's right. And it's going to be rough for you when you have to fake it in that relationship because that's who she fell in love with.
I mean, this goes back to episode 13 where we're talking about happiness. It's just like just be your fucking self. That's the
Yeah.
advice that you gave people. Just be yourself. And the people that you want and the people that you feel attracted to like as a romantic partner or the people that you relate to the best as your best friends and just your friends in general, they're going to come to you if you act like yourself. If you don't act like the person that you are, you're going to attract people that you find are shitty and don't relate to you, then well no shit is because you're not being the person that you are. You're not being the person that you're meant to be.
That's right.
And as cliche as it sounds, like it's the truth. It really is.
Yeah. But seriously, it happened for me and JD. It could happen to anyone. And it will. And it will.
Exactly. Oh man, dude, taking a trip down memory lane. Oh,
I love it. I miss it. I miss school.
This question kind of relates to what would you say to your past self? It's like if you can go back and just do it all again, is there a moment in time that you know for a fact you would change? What would that be?
I was in 6th grade, 2006, or it was 5th grade. It's either 5th grade or 6th grade. It's one of those 2 years. It was when it's for video games, obviously. I was invited to a pro team, but I didn't make the team. Well, I made the team, but I couldn't officially be in the team because I was too young to travel. And there's no way my parents would have let me. Back then, I was good enough to be a pro gamer. And fuck, 5th, 6th grade. And if I pursued it the way I did back then, because I was a fucking no life back then, start streaming. I could have made a shit ton of money by now.
And making a shit ton of money with like something that you actually love doing.
Yeah, and then like, holy crap. Like, I'm not even trying to brag about like playing games or being good. I was at the level where I was invited by a pro team to go to a pro tournament to earn money from it, but I couldn't because I couldn't travel alone. And there's no way my parents would have taken me because they thought playing video games was a fucking joke and a waste of time. If I knew about Twitch, if I knew about streaming back then, would have been a whole new ball game.
Wait, what game did they invite you to play?
Counter-Strike 1.6.
Oh shit. That's that's like one of the big games not even now still.
No, it's CS:GO now.
I know it's CS:GO, but I do know some people that play 1.6. Like there's still a decent amount of people playing 1.6 as well.
But like it got to the point where like I was so in tune with the game that like even with my shitty internet back then and I would have lag, I can predict the shot of where that lag is going to be to actually hit it and stuff. I amazed Paul and like my brother. It's not amazing to amaze my brother, but like it got to the point where like he was like, "Holy shit, how are you not losing when you're lagging and you can't even see your screen properly?" And if I had like a better like setup, holy shit, that would have changed the ball game. Like I was destroying not pros, but that level because I was scrimming and going against pro teams on a shitty computer, shitty internet.
Well, I had no idea that you were that good at 1.6.
And it was just that 1 year because for that full summer, I just nonstop played.
You should do that again with Apex or something.
I can't. I have work. I have a dog. I have a girlfriend. I can't do that anymore.
Follow your dreams.
My dreams are to be with my girlfriend and my dog.
That works.
But what about you?
If I were to go back and do one thing differently, I think is be more serious about my photography. Even now I undersell myself.
You do. I don't know why. So good.
I don't know why either. I feel that I'm not as good. I just feel like I'm not a good photographer. I don't know why. I don't know why that is. I don't. I really don't, but it's just this like this cloud that's always on me that like, oh, you're not that good, or look at all these people on Instagram and whatever XYZ, they're doing this, this, and this, and you're just sitting here doing nothing. And I succumb to that. I'm like, yeah, you're right. I probably should just not even do it anymore. And I haven't pulled out my camera in like a good month. And I don't know, man. It's hard.
I'm gonna actually make you pull up your camera this weekend because I was gonna actually ask you, can you take some photos of me and Ashley this weekend?
Okay, yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, my very first photographer photo shoot.
Yes. I can do that.
Nice. Very excited.
But I think that's something that I would have done earlier. Again, like what I said, like I feel like I just was always a little like a half step late or a half step early when it came to the hobbies that I'm doing. I just feel like I'm always behind and I could just never catch up. So I think one, starting my photography earlier and then just like being more focused on photography in high school and in college. I think that's the biggest change that I would do.
Yeah. Oh, memory lane.
Yeah, memory lane. It's kind of interesting seeing like all the choices that we've made and seeing like that pattern and like the path that we got to where we are now. Like these are all hypothetical, and honestly, at the moment, even if I did have the opportunity to go back and do my life over, I don't think I'll take it.
Yeah.
as hard as life is now, as yeah, like we're not like super rich and we're not super famous. Like I don't think I would. I don't know, man. It's a hard decision.
What if you had all that money though? That's a game changer.
Well, I mean, if I just happen to get like that amount of cash just dropped in my lap now, then it would be completely different than if I got it earlier. Does that make
Well, yeah,
sense?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, definitely because us having no money shapes us into who we are.
And it's shaped like the content of our even our podcast or and our friendship has been very different because of the a big reason is because of the financial situations that we are in now. So if that amount of money like if like $10 million just came across my lap right now, I'd be like, holy shit, I can do so much. And but then if I had it like junior year of high school,
Like you'd be bored. Like you've had that money for so long.
exactly, and I just feel like I wouldn't be as grateful for it now.
Yeah. You wouldn't appreciate the little things. Honestly, if I got fucking $10 million right now, I'd still live the way I'm living right now.
Yeah, me too.
Maybe pay off everything and just live comfortably.
Yes, pay off all the debts and then put it in a savings account that accrues interest.
That's right.
Yep, that's what I would do.
Genius. See, like that's how poor people think.
Yeah.
We got save, save, save.
Yeah, save it because you're gonna be poor again if you don't.
Right? Like you gotta save or you're gonna be fucking poor again.
Yeah, I don't think I would take that opportunity to go back. I might, I don't know, who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
Future JD might be something completely different, but right now, I would like to say I'm happy with my life, as frustrating as it can be sometimes.
If I get to still be with Ashley and have Moral and everyone in my life the same, I'd redo it.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
if it means like I'll never have met Ashley or something like that, I wouldn't do it. But I'm happy.
Yeah, I'm happy too. Yeah, I'm happy. I'm stressed. I'm stressed. We're all stressed, but I'm happy. We're happy.
There's a sticker that I bought JD for his his iPad. It's just a big smiley face that says dying inside. When I saw that, I was like, I thought of JD. I was like, oh, he's stressing out right now, but he has to put on a smile anyway. So I bought him a sticker.
I appreciate that sticker. I'm gonna put it right on my iPad. It's gonna be great.
All right.
With all that being said, I feel like this is a great place to end because we got to talk about all the maybe not all the regrets that we had in the past and our past decision making and our stupid, idiotic teenage and college year selves. And we're gonna be talking like 10 years from now, we're gonna be talking about 25-year-old JD was just a fucking idiot.
What does he know?
Yeah, what did he know? He knew absolutely nothing. But I think it's just a nice way to go back and really take a step back and see the reasons why we are the way we are today and give a little kind of twist of like if we could go back and talk to our past selves, I think is a good, very interesting question. Andrew proposed this question like a few weeks ago and it was so hard to think of stuff. Like I still
It was like a month and a half ago.
it's a month and a half ago and it's still a question that like it's hard to answer.
Yeah. I mean, like to our viewers too. Like, I mean, if you want, send us an email of where you would go back, why you would do it, and when, where, all that stuff.
So yeah, if you can send us an email or send us an Instagram message about like when you would go back, why you picked that certain date, and what you would say to yourself, I would think we would love to hear what you guys have to say because it's just an interesting question for both of us that I feel like a lot of people have very different answers as well. So we really want to know what you guys think about that. So yeah, feel free to send us an email and or send us an Instagram direct message. And if they want to do that, Andrew, where do they go?
If they want to reach us, they can always go to our email, upuntilnowpodcast@gmail.com, or our Instagram with the same handle, upuntilnowpodcast. And I remember this part. Please, please, please don't forget to rate, subscribe, and like our video. And make sure you comment. Let us know what we're doing right or wrong. We want to do everything that we can to improve our podcast to make your guys' experience and time worthwhile.
And when Andrew said rate, like, comment, and subscribe to our video, he meant our podcast.
That's right.
We watch so much YouTube, we automatically say video. So
Ay, ay, ay.
But I want to give out a huge shout out to my friend Eric and thank him for the music that he allows us to use on this podcast. We use this music a lot throughout this entire podcast. He has 3 songs currently out on Instagram and on SoundCloud. He can be found at ch.tunes, ch.tunes on both SoundCloud and Instagram. And both of his links are available on our bio at Up Until Now Podcast on Instagram. Just go ahead and click on the link tree that's in the bio, and it should be at the bottom. If you guys do choose to use his music, please, please, please give him a shout out because he lets you use his music for free. I mean, why wouldn't you want to use the music that, local artist has been able to, use and put their time, love, and effort into? I feel like that, and especially in this time, we should be supporting our local artists and really using their things and thanking them for all the incredible things that they do for us. So thank you, Eric, again for letting us use your music. And with all that, thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.